Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper here. Lots to get to on the show here on a Friday. The Milwaukee Brewers can't quite complete the sweep over the Cincinnati Reds on Thursday, and it's unfortunate, but it's very difficult to sweep a major league team, especially over a 4-game series. It's very difficult to do that. So the Reds were able to get one over on the Brewers there. We also got a really fun update on one of the prospects in the Brewers farm system, and we'll look ahead to the series against the Diamondbacks this holiday weekend. But the Reds were able to provide some power and some punch against the Brewers and Jacob Misiorowski during this game on Thursday. Jacob Misiorowski giving up a couple of homers. We'll get into that here, but the Brewers' offense struggled. I mean, this matchup, Miz versus Chase Burns. Chase Burns, a young flamethrower phenom himself for the Cincinnati Reds. He did really well in this game. 6 innings, 2 runs that he ended up giving up. So struck out 4, wasn't able to get the big gaudy strikeout totals on the Brewers, but held the offense in check largely, with the exception of Garrett Mitchell a little bit. Garrett Mitchell homers this time. Fell a home run shy of the cycle the night before, and then comes through with a home run there the next day. So I mean that's awesome to see for him. Mitchell continuing to improve, hitting 265 on the season now and 813 OPS. But in terms of positives for the Brewers in this game, there really weren't a ton of them. You get a double from Bryce Terang that brings in a run, so like that helps. That's nice, but still, it only got you to 2 runs, and the Reds just kept on. The Reds put up a whole bunch in this one, and it really kind of started with. It started in the first inning as Jacob Misiorowski. His fastball is elite, and he throws gas, especially in the first inning. I mean, 102, 103 is coming. If you're a hitter, if you've been watching any sort of Jacob Misiorowski start, which everyone around the league has been, first inning, it's coming 102, 103. You just know it. Sal Stewart was prepared for it. Pat Murphy tells us all the time, these guys can time up a jet plane. Okay, apparently not everyone can time up a jet plane, because everyone knows what Miz is going to be throwing, and they still can't catch up to it. They still can't hit it. But Sal Stewart could. Sal Stewart could time up a jet plane. He got a fastball at 102 from Misiorowski up in the zone. Not quite as up as Miz would have liked, but still, fastball at 102 up in the zone. Sal Stewart gets around on it and hits it for a homer. Previously, there have only been 4 hits against Misiorowski at pitches 102 or higher, all of them singles. This was the first extra base hit Miz has ever given up on a pitch 102 or faster. So credit to Sal Stewart, man. I mean, that kid is a stud. I mean, this is his rookie season, and he has been lighting it up over there for the Cincinnati Reds. That dude is going to be a problem for years to come here in the NL Central, should the Reds be able to figure out, the rest of their roster, because they kind of have problems doing that. Just look at their history over the past however many years. They've had problems doing that and putting a full, complete roster together to compete in this division. Yes, they made the playoffs last year, but they're struggling a bit this year. But Sal Stewart is not. Sal Stewart being able to put up that and put up a home run off Miz at 102. That's mighty impressive. You just earned respect from a lot of people with that one there for Sal Stewart. But it ends up being 5 runs against Miz, and it comes in a 4-run 4th inning that he gives up. And all these runs were unearned, actually. The inning started with an error, and that allowed that runner to score, to reach base and end up coming around to score. So he was unearned. And then Miz gets to 2 outs before he gives up a 3-run homer to Jose Trevino. And because there were 2 outs and there was an error earlier, all those 3 runs would not have scored if the error had not been made. So those are all unearned as well. So Jacob Mizorowski ends up with 5 innings and 5 runs allowed, but 1 earned run. So his ERA does not get blown up with this. So that's a positive, I guess, in all of this. But he still strikes out 10 in those 5 innings. I mean, he even when he was having to deal with guys actually making some good contact off of him, he still strikes out 10. And that is just the pure stuff that Jacob Mizorowski has, and what makes him so electric. Now, will he start in the All-Star game is perhaps the question, because the way things are currently lining up, the Brewers it's looking like he's going to line up to start that Sunday before the All-Star game, which would make him ineligible. So we'll see if the Brewers continue to stick to that plan. But certainly a more than deserving All-Star. And once those rosters do get named, coming up here this holiday weekend, then we're going to, I mean, Mizorowski is absolutely going to be named to it. But will he be named the starter? Will he be able to pitch as a starter? We shall see for that game. But Miz had a few struggles in this one. Brewers fell behind early and just kind of weren't able to claw their way back into this game on Thursday. And hey, look, it happens. You still took 3 out of 4 from the Reds when you're feeling pretty good about what you got coming up here. So what you got coming up is still a whole bunch of games here for the Brewers, and you can trade every single game on Kalshi. And especially when you use that promo code FANARCHBASEBALL, can get you set up and looking for some Brewer spots to be looking here to perhaps kind of trade on and see where you'd like to go with this group, because there are certainly plenty of opportunities with the Milwaukee Brewers. So it is going to be a fun time. The Brewers going out to Arizona for this series coming up this weekend, taking on the Diamondbacks. And I'm looking at the Brewers offense to bounce back, because I think they will. Facing Arizona here, Brewers to win by 1.5 runs, so basically a 2-run victory or more. That is currently trading at 48%, which means a $100 trade pays out $202 with a win. And that's a nice little addition there to the bank account. But on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10 KALSHI Kalshi trade on anything. All right, I wanted to get to this very exciting and positive bit of news here as well on a Friday to kind of get us sent into the 4th of July weekend, America's 250th weekend. Very happy news on Brewers pitching prospect Frank Chiarone. Now, for some of you may not know Frank Chiarone very well. Some of you may have seen me talk about him before, or just kind of generally kept up with this. But Frank Chiarone was drafted by the Brewers early in last year's draft. Left-handed pitcher coming out of the New Jersey high school ranks. And over the winter, kind of right around New Year's, a little bit after, he got into a really bad car accident. He got T-boned, I believe, and he was in a medically induced coma for a little bit. He had a brain bleed that he was dealing with. He had some serious injuries that he suffered, and he was trying to, they were kind of unsure. The Brewers were unsure if Chiarone was going to be able to work his way back to actually pitch. Is he just going to be able to have a regular life, even outside of baseball with all this? But an incredible and miraculous recovery for him, that he was able to come back and, gain motor functions and everything else pretty quickly, and wanting to get back out on the mound to pitch and everything. And sure enough, on Thursday, Frank Chiarone made his return to the mound to game action. He's been in Arizona. He's been at the Brewers spring training complex for a couple of weeks now. The Brewers have been ramping him up. They've been supervising him, just kind of making sure everything is okay. And I was able to break the news on Twitter at dgasper24 if you don't follow me there already. But I was able to break the news there yesterday that Frank Chiarone was indeed going to be pitching. I got the word from a source earlier in the week, just being able to confirm and make sure. Okay, he is pitching, and Frank Chiron makes his return to the mound and is pitching in the Arizona Complex League in game action there. So we got the start. Frank Chiron went 1 inning, and don't worry, that was planned. Okay, they're going to kind of slowly ramp him up there in terms of innings workload, but he made it through 1 inning, gave up a single. Guy stole second base. Wild pitch. He got to third. Scores on a ground out. So he gives up a run. Gives up a single. Gives up a run, but no real like major damage. Nothing really terrible. But he got out there. He had his inning. He came off. He got it done. And that is just really, really awesome to see for Chiron. It's been a long road back. It's been 7 months of a journey there, and for him to be able to be in mound action, it is just so awesome and beautiful to see. So happy for him. And obviously this is going to be kind of a bit of a lost year for Chiron. The development that he wanted to have happened probably not going to happen. Wanting to throw as many innings as he wanted to, but still, just to be able to get back out on the mound, to see that kind of progress, that is such a positive thing to see. So I wanted to kind of share that happy news here as well. And makes you feel all good and warm and fuzzy inside. But the Brewers now heading to Arizona. They're already out there in Arizona, but they got a series coming up against the Arizona Diamondbacks this weekend. So that is what they're going to be doing over the 4th of July, and it's going to be a good series. I mean, the Diamondbacks are kind of, in the middle of the pack there in that NL West behind the Dodgers, because everyone's behind the Dodgers because the Dodgers are insane. So they're just kind of in that battle for second place, really, is what it is out there. But they're sitting at 500, 43-43, the Diamondbacks. So we've got a couple of interesting pitching matchups here. We got the lefty Kyle Harrison on the bump tonight for the Brewers, and the Diamondbacks will be throwing right-hander Jose Cabrera. He's 0-1 with a 3.60 ERA. I think he's only got one start to his credit at this point. So, the numbers you can only take so far with him. And then on Saturday, the 4th of July, you have America's 250th celebration. You are going to have celebrating history. And there is a lot of history with these two pitchers on the bump. Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers, Merrill Kelly for the Diamondbacks. You got the two wily veterans, the old veterans who have been around a long time in the major leagues. They are pitching on the 4th of July. The two right-handers, Woodruff, a 2.59 ERA, has been really good since coming back off the IL. Merrill Kelly starting to show his age a little bit at 37 years old. He's 5-8 with a 5.84 ERA. Not quite the same dominant Merrill Kelly that we once saw, but still playing a big piece of that Diamondbacks rotation. I mean, he's kind of got the Woodruff role a little bit out there as the veteran leader of that group. But Merrill Kelly, a lot of history with the Brewers. So, I mean, even with an ERA near 6, I wouldn't be surprised if he carves up the Brewers for a little bit there, because that just kind of seems to be how it goes. And then on Sunday, the finale, you have Brandon Sproat on the bump for the Crew. Eduardo Rodriguez, the left-hander, E-Rod, is going to be pitching for the Diamondbacks, and he is their best starter. 7-2, 2.21 ERA. He's been really solid for them. So Eduardo Rodriguez can present a challenge there as well on Sunday, but it should be a fun weekend. I mean, we got the 4th of July, America's 250th celebration, so it is just going to be even better. Enjoy all of the holiday weekend stuff. We got all-star announcements coming up on the 4th of July as well. Who's going to be named to those teams? There should be a handful of Brewers in that all-star game, but we shall see what ends up happening there. And we'll be breaking it down. But be sure to stay safe this weekend. Keep all of your fingers and toes if you're playing with fireworks. Okay, don't lose any of them. We don't need any Jason Pierre-Pauls. But stay safe this weekend. Enjoy this weekend, and just enjoy the freedoms that come from living here in America, or even if you're not living in America, just it is just the freedoms that this country have provided to the world as well. I mean, just with how this country started 250 years ago, how that inspired so many other changes across the world. That is what America is all about, and that is what we celebrate. So be sure to do it and do it safely. Keep all of your fingers. And follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. We'll get tons of great insights over there as well. Subscribe and get notified if you haven't already. Enjoy the 4th, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.